At this hour, a massive manhunt is underway in New Orleans for inmates who escaped from a jail in the middle of the night and in the middle of the city. Police say 10 men escaped, they think, through a hole dug behind a toilet in a jail cell, leaving behind taunting messages for the guards like, "Too easy, LOL." One escapee has already been recaptured. You can see him right there, and police caught him in the French Quarter. At least 4 of the escapees are charged with murder or second-degree murder and are considered armed and dangerous. The sheriff of New Orleans today said that the escapees may have had help from jail staff.
We have indication that these detainees received assistance in their escape from individuals inside of our department. We are investigating our own to find out exactly what happened and where those lapses were.
NBC's Priya Sridhar has been tracking this story for us. And Priya, bring us up to date now. Walk us through the timeline, how this went down, and why do police think that they may have had help?
Hey, Tom, that's right. Yeah, a very alarming and concerning situation down in New Orleans. The sheriff's department there under a lot of scrutiny right now, and they're certainly going to be doing a thorough investigation in the coming days. But right now, the top priority is trying to find these 9 additional inmates who are still on the run. As you mentioned, they are considered armed and dangerous. They're facing serious felony charges, many of them violent offenses like attempted murder, like you mentioned. But we are getting a clearer picture of exactly the timeline of what took place. We know that this detention facility was placed on a lockdown at around 10:30 p.m., which is customary for this facility overnight. We then know that at around 12:23 a.m., the detainees broke through a jail cell door, and the sheriff said that that was because of defective locks. At around 1:01 a.m., the detainees were able to exit a jail through a hole behind a toilet. The sheriff said that they actually used toiletries potentially to remove some of the bolts to create that hole. Then it took around 7.5 hours for the sheriff's deputies to discover that these 10 inmates were missing when they were doing their routine head count at around 8:30 in the morning. Then about an hour later, the sheriff's department did notify the U.S. Marshals, and it was shortly after that that the public was notified. And now they're facing a lot of questions about why it took so long for the rest of the community to find out. Let's take a listen to what the deputy chief of the Department of Corrections down there had to say about how this all unfolded.
It was more than just a breach of security. It was some type of help, and we've been researching, we've been looking, investigating and looking, and it would definitely be some type of tool used other than just the strength of a sheer individual.
Man, hey, that's crazy. As y'all seen the news clip, 10 inmates escaped at the same time from the same place. Now, you already know, as soon as I seen just the headline or when I came across it, I'm like, ain't no way 10 people got out at the same time. When it first was reported, they said 11 people. But, the news came back on and they said it was actually 10 people and 1 inmate was already captured. You know what I'm saying? I seen another clip where they said they used face recognition for, they used face recognition to catch the one that they did catch, and it was like, they said it was 2 of them together. Once they got spotted, when 12 tried to pull up on them, they voted different ways. They caught one suspect, he was up under a car or whatever. But they said they had put, they're using face recognition to try to capture these guys as far as getting them back in custody and stuff like that. But that's some wild shit, you know what I'm saying? At this moment, I gotta say 1 for the bad guys and 0 for the law, you know what I'm saying? Because, damn, it had to been a serious breakdown or an inside job to where somebody basically looked the other way or helped out, you know what I'm saying? And aiding and abetting these guys, bro, because I never heard of a jail escape that big. And then from my knowledge, they said that the jail that they was housed in is like fairly new and basically state of the art, you know what I'm saying? A state of the art building and, is almost impossible to break out. So, right now, everybody, all the officials in New Orleans, they playing the blame game. They pointing at each other. I seen the ex-mayor he's getting on the present mayor, and the present mayor, she is basically, you know, pointing the finger. But this is what I don't understand. Now, it was reported that these dudes broke out or made their escape, or either attempted to make their escape, like at 1:30 a.m. I guess the higher ups over them wasn't alerted until like 8:30 when they did the next count. You know what I'm saying? And then once them the higher ups got that notification of these 10 guys escaping, then they put it out to the news and the marshals and all that stuff like that. And it seemed like they was trying to get, you know, they story together before they, you know, alerted the authorities or whatever. You know, they wanted to get that press right because there's gonna be a lot of questions asked. You know, also they saying that this facility is 2 miles away from Bourbon Street. You know, New Orleans always, that city always have dealt with corruption and you know, things not being on the up and up far as the law goes, you know. So man, 10 dudes at one time getting up out of there, man, I'm pretty sure everybody that either works in that jail or facility, whatever, they finna be under some type of investigation. But it's just like, damn, nobody watching the cameras. Like, then this the funny part, right? The people who escaped left a note like, hey, this too easy. You know what I'm saying? LOL, how we gone? You know what I'm saying? Like, so them feeling that confident and, you know, leaving and actually writing a note, obviously them boys knew they was gonna have a lot of time on their hand to escape. And I'm pretty sure it probably started with like 1 or 2 guys, you know what I'm saying, planning on this escape. But once other guys got on board, you know, because, you know, you tell anybody outside your cell, I'm pretty sure it was like either, unless it was a 4-man cell or, you know, I don't know the full details of how many men was in the cell. But now they're saying that they had problems with the locks on the cells and all that stuff like that. Because for them many guys to escape, that means a lot of locks were working. Like at minimum, five doors was unlocked if they doing 2 to the cell, right? So, you know, them dudes left a, you know, a LOL note, man, this is too easy, because it was. They had to get some inside help, and if they didn't, hey man, you know, it's a lot of people that's gonna be under fire because a lot of people wasn't doing their job. And far as, you know, securing the building and making sure everything is running smooth. Y'all know how these guards get, man. They sit in them booths and them rooms all night with the cameras on, bro. You know, they go so many days of stuff not happening to where once they do their last count for the night and know the guys is locked down. You know, I think they said at 10:30 is when the dudes be having it, when everybody have to lock down. But you know, after they do their count, man, these people ain't studying that shit. They ain't paying attention to the camera, man. They all on their phones. They, you know, on YouTube, Instagram, you know, TikTok, whatever, on the phone with, you know, with their homegirl, homeboys. They just not really caring about, you know, the cameras that much, or even paying attention to the inmates that much, unless it's a real reason for them to go check on somebody. But it's just crazy, man. Like, you know, 10 guys escaped and 9 are still at large. Hey, I hope y'all make it to wherever y'all make it to. Y'all had a great head start. Shout out to the person, whoever was in on it, you know. And when you got somebody that's in the inside working and helping you do something like this, man, you do get a good head start. Now, what I did see too is 2 of the guys is in there for a body, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, they was, you know, I guess the authorities was looking to give them life, you know what I'm saying, for their crimes and stuff like that. And they had a certain issue about witness tampering and witness intimidation out of these 2 guys for the cases or the crimes they was in there for. So for them to be able to escape, they were supposed to put that out way faster, just in case these guys wasn't going to try to, you know, do anything to any witnesses, or for that matter, to the judges or the DAs that was working the case, man. But this is just a wild situation. You know, we gonna definitely see how this turned out right now. Everybody in New Orleans, they point at each other, all the authority figures, you know. You can't blame the inmates for doing what they did. You feel me? They locked up. They criminals, so they gonna do criminal shit, especially if you give them an edge. I mean, you know, a little inch, they gonna take them out. Y'all know how that go. So, you know, we gonna stay tuned. We gonna try to see how this turn out. You know, it's crazy. I just ain't never seen nothing like that, man. But to the people that live in New Orleans or just in that area, just Louisiana, the state itself, you know, definitely keep your eyes open, lock your doors, do what you need to do. But I don't really think these dudes is really trying to, you know, commit another crime in that state or city. I think they trying to make their way out of that state and get on somewhere. If I was them, you know, but you never know, man. So definitely, man, to the people in New Orleans and the state of Louisiana, man, keep your eyes peeled. Also mind y'all business. If y'all see these guys, hey, it ain't got nothing to do with y'all. Let the authority figures who getting paid to do their job. Unless somebody's in imminent danger, then I understand. You feel me? Civilians got to do what they got to do because listen, people have family, people have, you know, and we ain't trying to lose anybody or make a situation worse than it is, you know. So definitely, you know, y'all be safe out there, New Orleans, state of Louisiana. Y'all be safe, y'all be cool. But if we get anything else, man, I would definitely bring it back to y'all. I'm gone.
Answers to as this continues, as we gain more investigatory
and might have
materials.
required, I'm sorry, excuse me, might have required power tools also. This is not the kind of thing you just take a little wrench and, you know, from the other side apparently and unscrew it.
It certainly doesn't seem so. It certainly doesn't seem so. And actually, we did have somebody call into the station earlier who works in residential contracting who said exactly that. This isn't really something that it seems as though somebody could kind of cut a hole around this toilet unit and just move it. There seems to have been some kind of bigger effort to remove this.
And how did 10 inmates get access to one cell, too? And in this area, I don't know what the...
Well, it sounds like this was a lesser security area on this first floor, according to what the sheriff said. And talking to former Sheriff Marlon Guzman about that, he said these guys should not have been on this first floor because this was really a minimum security area. So they kind of had access to kind of come and go a little bit more freely than they would potentially if they were on the second or third floor of the jail.
But people who were not facing the kinds of charges, or in one case a conviction, that you would think they would, you know, be getting
second-degree murder,
an easy break.
And certainly after a conviction, of course, that's another thing that came up earlier and continues to in these conversations. Is maybe why wasn't this person moved to the Department of Corrections post-adjudication?
Maybe we'll get some answers here. We understand
Certainly.
Sheriff Hudson is walking to the podium. All right, the sheriff, we expect perhaps some more detail. Darlene Costanza from the Crime Stoppers is there. There may be some information about a reward, presumably. That could be something.
And I did speak with Darlene earlier. You know, she told me that she was hoping that anybody in the community, you know, speak up about the possible area that any of these escapees are.
All right, let's listen into the sheriff.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here so we can get more information out to our community. We are joined here today by our partners who are helping us to put this investigation together to get these folks back into custody. We are joined here by the FBI, the new SAC who's in the back. We are also joined by our partners at the New Orleans Police Department, Chief Gonthier, the State Police. We've got a couple of members of the State Police also here to support us. The Crime Stoppers and CEO Costanza. And we are going to start off with OPSO Major Silas Phipps Jr., who is over our Investigative Services Bureau, to give you an update about that. We'll then have Chief Jay Mallett, who is our warden over the jail, to discuss a little bit more about that. Major Stephanie Minto, who is our Crime Victims Reparations Unit Commander. Darlene Costanza will be next after that, and then the SAC from the FBI will be final. Major Phipps.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Sheriff. Thank you all for being here. I'll start by providing you an update on where we are with the investigation. Just an overview of the original timeline. So at approximately 8:30 this morning, OPSO jail operations staff found that several inmates on Pod 1 Delta were missing during their head count. That jail staff immediately began a systematic search of the facility for those inmates as members of our investigatory team began combing through video to see where they could have gone. At the time of the incident, there was no deputy physically on Pod 1 Delta, and the technician that was assigned to the housing unit module had actually stepped away to grab food. After reviewing video, we noticed that at 12:22 a.m., several inmates on Pod 1 Delta were observed jarring one of the sliding doors open, specifically on cell Delta 1006. At 12:43 a.m., those same individuals entered that cell. At 1 a.m., they were observed on camera exiting our facility using an adjacent loading dock door, so a loading dock door adjacent to that pod, and subsequently going down a side road behind our building, our secure perimeter between the Phase 3 facility that's currently under construction. At 1:19 a.m., they were then observed scaling the fence along the I-10 between our building and the currently under construction Phase 3, using blankets to avoid being cut by the barbed wire. Those individuals subsequently ran across the westbound and eastbound lanes of I-10 and then entered the neighborhood. This morning, after investigators became involved, they subsequently found clothing that they shed in that neighborhood. Although it was previously reported that there were 11 escapees, there were 10. 9 remain at large. 1 was apprehended earlier today, which you've covered, and 1 person previously reported as an escapee was located inside the facility. As of right now, 3 employees have been placed on suspension pending the outcome of this fluid and ongoing investigation. We do have a video we're going to play with you, and I will kind of narrate just to kind of show you what I've already said, and then I'll go from there after. So if you take a look at the screen. So as you see here, on the screen, going to open this sliding door to the cell that they used to escape. The whole, this is how we need to. So,
Can you start it over?
Sure.
We'll provide this with $2 off.
So you see them jarring open the door. They get it open. Subsequently, they go inside that cell, and this is where you see them exiting the loading dock door. As you know, if you notice, they are carrying blankets with them. This road that they're going out of is behind this building, as I explained. They subsequently go through another door, and here, at some point, you can see them come through here, and they scale the fence through this door that's near the construction site. They scale that fence, and then make good on their escape, crossing all lanes of I-10. That's where you see them going across that escape. So, in that case, as Casey said, we will share those videos with you all.